League of Legends family tragedy. On Friday, April 4, 2014, in Guangyuan, Sichuan Province, China, a mother and her 16-year-old son were involved in a fatal incident triggered by a dispute over the game League of Legends. The son, known as Mingming, had skipped school for the Qingming vacation to play the game in a local internet cafe, which his frustrated mother found him doing late that evening. Witnesses report the mother became distraught during the confrontation on the banks of the Jilin River, exclaiming that she could not control her son's gaming habit. According to Chinese news reports, their argument got heated and she yelled, "You go online and I can't control you, so I'll just go die." She called her husband to announce her plan to kill herself, and he rushed out to find her. Tragically, the mother then walked into the river, where a swift undercurrent quickly swept her away. Mingming immediately rushed in to try to save her, but failed to grab her and momentarily fainted. When Mingming's father arrived, bystanders informed him that his wife had jumped in. Consumed by rage, he attacked his son, screaming, "You had to go online, you had to play games." After a brief, fatal glance at his father and the churning river, Mingming abruptly turned and plunged into the water. In immediate despair, his father declared, "I also don't want to live, I will go with you," and attempted to follow, but he was rescued by a police officer nearby. Both the mother and son, Mingming, went missing and were never recovered. They are presumed to have drowned, resulting in their deaths and prompting widespread attention in Chinese media and on social platforms about youth gaming addiction and family stress. Call of Duty swatting. On Thursday, December 28, 2017, a simple monetary dispute arose between two gamers, Casey Viner and Shane Gaskell, over a $1.50 wager while playing Call of Duty World War II online. This quickly escalated when Viner sought revenge by hiring an anonymous swatter named Tyler Barris to carry out a serious prank against Gaskell. Posing as a resident at 1033 West McCormick, Tyler Barris placed a hoax 911 call to Wichita police, claiming he had shot his father in the head, was holding his mother and younger brother hostage, and had poured gasoline around the house, using an address Shane Gaskell supplied that was actually Gaskell's former home and the current residence of an uninvolved man, Andrew Finch. When police arrived and surrounded the house, Finch stepped onto his porch to see what was happening and was fatally shot by an officer, after officers said they believed he reached toward his waistband, resulting in Finch's death in what became the nation's first known fatal swatting homicide. The aftermath saw the hoax caller Barris sentenced to 20 years in federal prison for making a false report resulting in a death, while Viner was convicted of conspiracy and obstruction of justice and sentenced to 15 months, and Gaskell, after originally facing charges of obstruction of justice, wire fraud, and conspiracy to obstruct justice, was ultimately sentenced to 18 months in prison after pleading guilty to wire fraud. Fortnite domestic homicide. On Wednesday, May 21, 2025, a domestic dispute erupted inside a Davenport, Florida home around 7:10 p.m. after a 9-year-old boy was caught playing the video game Fortnite on his phone against his mother's rules, which prompted the child to retrieve a Smith & Wesson 9mm handgun from a nightstand in his mother, Adrienne Daz's bedroom on Citrus Landing Boulevard. This immediately escalated into a physical and verbal incident involving the boy's parents and his 26-year-old stepbrother, Azriel J. Martinez, as the household's other minor child, age 11, was also present. After the stepfather, 43-year-old Kelly Igar Garcia, managed to disarm the child, he began arguing with Martinez over his discipline of the younger children and why he had the gun in his hand, which led to Garcia allegedly using the recovered weapon to shoot Martinez multiple times in the chest and abdomen inside the bedroom, then following him into the doorway and firing 2 more shots into his back as Martinez tried to retreat. Martinez was transported to a local hospital where he later succumbed to multiple gunshot wounds, resulting in his death in a fatal homicide. Investigators said they found no evidence that Martinez was physically aggressive and noted that self-defense was not supported by the shots to the back, and Garcia was subsequently arrested and charged with second-degree murder and unlawful storage of a firearm accessible to a minor, with police also noting a prior 2022 child welfare visit to the home. Pokemon Go truck crash. On Tuesday, August 23, 2016, at approximately 7:35 p.m. in Tokushima City, Japan, a 39-year-old farmer and truck driver named Keiji Gu was operating his small truck on a straight single-lane road while fully engrossed in playing Pokemon Go, causing him to take his eyes entirely off the road ahead. This total loss of attention resulted in a vehicular accident when he struck 2 female pedestrians, Sachiko Nakanishi, 72, and Kayoko Ikawa, 60, as they were crossing the road. Gu was reportedly driving at approximately 50 kilometers per hour, and the resulting impact led to the immediate death of Ms. Nakanishi and caused serious injury to Ms. Ikawa, who was hospitalized with a broken hip. The driver was convicted of negligence resulting in death and injury, with the judge highlighting the gravity of his failure to notice the victims on a clear road, leading to his sentence of 14 months in prison. PUBG mobile heart attack. On May 28, 2019, 16-year-old Furkan Qureshi from Neemuch, Madhya Pradesh, India, collapsed and reportedly died of cardiac arrest after playing PUBG Mobile for about 6 hours straight. Family members said he had begun gaming immediately after lunch and kept playing late into the evening. Those around him recalled that he became very agitated during the game, shouting at other players and throwing down his phone in frustration when losing. He soon collapsed. By the time he was rushed to a hospital, he was without a pulse and doctors were unable to revive him. Cardiologists later suggested that the intense excitement and physical strain of the long, competitive play session may have caused a surge in adrenaline, triggering the fatal heart attack. The case received international attention as doctors and commentators linked it to concerns about gaming addiction and health, arriving just as the World Health Organization formally approved the inclusion of gaming disorder in the International Classification of Diseases 11th revision, highlighting global debate over the effects of video games. Diablo 3 Death Marathon. On Friday, July 13, 2012, in Tainan, Taiwan, an 18-year-old man surnamed Chuang booked a private room at an internet cafe after a friend failed to show up and settled in to play Diablo 3. Over the next 2 days, he reportedly engaged in an extreme, approximately 40-hour session without eating. The session ended on Sunday morning when an attendant woke him. He managed to stand and take a few steps before suddenly collapsing inside the cafe. Staff called for help, and Chuang was rushed to a nearby hospital, where he was pronounced dead shortly after arrival. Officials and media accounts noted that prolonged immobility, exhaustion, and lack of food were the likely contributors, with some reports suggesting a possible cardiovascular event or blood clot. And the case drew international coverage that again spotlighted warnings from authorities and gaming communities about taking breaks, staying hydrated, and avoiding marathon sessions in internet cafes. World of Warcraft suicide. In early March 2015 in Shanghai, China, 24-year-old gamer Wu Tai collapsed and died at an internet cafe after playing World of Warcraft for 19 consecutive hours. Friends and fellow players watched in horror as Wu suddenly coughed violently, spat blood, and slumped over his desk. His friend Xin Lo later recalled that Wu turned very pale and was dabbing his mouth with a handkerchief which had blood on it just before he collapsed. Other patrons called emergency services and tried CPR, but Wu was already dead by the time medics arrived. A police spokesman noted that while an autopsy would determine the exact cause of death, there seems little doubt that Wu's marathon gaming session and lack of rest contributed to the tragedy. Chinese and international media covered the incident as a grim example of extreme gaming habits. Authorities and gaming communities issued warnings about taking breaks and watching for signs of exhaustion during extended play sessions. League of Legends fatality. On January 31, 2012, Chen Rongyu, a 23-year-old student in New Taipei City, Taiwan, sat down in an internet cafe to play League of Legends. Starting at about 10 p.m. that night, Chen played for roughly 23 hours straight, taking only brief breaks to rest his head on the desk as he dozed at the computer. The next morning, cafe staff tried to wake him as his allotted time was up, but they found Chen slumped over the keyboard, his body stiff and cold. Reports said he may have gone unnoticed for hours. Paramedics pronounced Chen dead at the scene. Reporters noted the eerie detail that his hands remained in place on the mouse and keyboard as if still playing. Media coverage of the case used poetic language to describe how Chen's final real-life death mirrored the many virtual deaths his character had suffered on Summoner's Rift that night, and outlets including The Guardian ran the story as a somber reminder that marathon gaming sessions can end in tragedy. If you like this video, subscribe for more.